Have you ever said to your child, "Hey, it's time to get started on that homework," and suddenly they are crying or shouting or slamming the door in your face or saying things like, "You always shout at me," and you are standing there thinking, "How did we get here?" Or maybe their friend didn't respond to the message straight away and they cry, "I have no friends, nobody likes me." If those moments feel painfully familiar, this video is for you. And your child isn't being dramatic, they are not manipulative, and they are not choosing to react this way. It's very likely rejection sensitive dysphoria or RSD. I want you to know this. Your child isn't choosing to react like this. Their nervous system is experiencing threat. Hi, I'm Izabela Doyle, a neurodivergent family coach, and I help overwhelmed parents of ADHD and autistic kids with big feelings and explosive behaviors bring calm back into their homes. If that's you, if you are parenting a child who feels everything so deeply and reacts fast and hard, make sure you subscribe and like this video because I share neuroaffirming parenting strategies every week to help you understand what's really going on underneath behavior. And today, I want to help you understand what rejection sensitive dysphoria actually is. Why is it so common in neurodivergent children? How it shows up at home, at school, and with friends. And most importantly, what actually helps. Because once you understand RSD, you stop trying to toughen your child up and start protecting their nervous system that is already struggling to regulate. Everything changes. Rejection sensitive dysphoria is an extreme emotional sensitivity to perceived rejection, criticism, or failure. The key word there is perceived, because with RSD, the rejection doesn't have to be real, the criticism doesn't have to be harsh, the disappointment doesn't have to be spoken. If the child feels it, their nervous system reacts as if it's unbearable. This isn't normal hurt feelings. This is emotional flooding, intense shame, panic, rage, despair. And it happens fast. For ADHD and autistic kids, their brains struggle to regulate emotional pain, especially around rejection. So small moments can feel catastrophic. What RSD feels like to your neurodivergent child? Well, imagine your child's brain has no emotional volume control. So when you say, "Hey, you just need to try a bit harder," their nervous system hears you are not good enough. When the teacher say, "You just have to fix that little bit there," their body hears you failed again. When a friend doesn't reply or a sibling laughs at them, their brain jumps straight to, "I'm just unwanted, I don't belong here, something is wrong with me." That pain isn't a thought, it's a full body experience. That's why logic doesn't work in the moment. That's why reassurance doesn't land. That's why things escalate so quickly. First, let's talk how ADHD kids experience RSD. Because ADHD brains feel emotion intensely. They struggle with emotional regulation and react before they can think. And there is another huge factor parents and teachers often don't realize. By age of 12, children with ADHD receive 20,000 more negative comments, more corrections than their neurotypical friends. Things like, "Stop fidgeting, pay attention, you've been told, why can't you just, your brother can, why can't you?" Over time, their nervous system becomes hyper alert to criticism. So when feedback comes, even gentle, their brain is already bracing for rejection. That's why a missed homework question, a reminder to tidy up the room, or a small mistake can trigger tears, anger, shutdown. And it's not defiance, it's not attitude, it's not bad behavior. It's emotional pain hitting faster than they can manage it. Now, let's look at autistic children who often struggle to read social cues. They misinterpret social interactions. They feel deeply but cannot always explain why and where in their body that feeling presents due to poor interoception. So imagine this scenario. Two kids whisper to each other in the playground. A neurotypical child might think, they're just talking about something else. An autistic child with RSD will think they are talking about me. They don't like me. I've done something wrong. And because an autistic child often can articulate that internal story, what we see on the outside is a meltdown, sudden anger, withdrawal, and refusal. Not because they don't care, but because they care so deeply. Many autistic kids also experience real exclusion or bullying, which teaches their nervous system to expect rejection. So their brain is always scanning for it. Now, when ADHD and autism collide, so when your child is both ADHD and autistic, often called AuDHD, RSD can be extremely intense. Why? Because ADHD brings emotional intensity and impulsive reaction, and autism brings social confusion and misinterpretation. So the child perceives rejection more often, reacts faster and bigger when they do. This is the child who says, "Everyone hates me," after something that seemed tiny to you. This is the child who melts down over feedback, shuts down after social interactions, avoid trying because failure feels unbearable. Not because they are fragile, but because their nervous system is doing too much to protect them. So let's see how RSD shows up in different settings. At home, RSD often shows up in the moment that should feel small. You say, "Can you pick up the clothes off the floor?" And suddenly your child explodes and shouts, "You don't love me. I can't do anything right for you." You are thinking, "I didn't criticize you. I didn't raise my voice. I just asked to pick up the clothes." But to a child with RSD, that moment didn't land as a gentle request. It landed as, "I failed again. I'm disappointing you. I'm not good enough." Once that meaning hits their nervous system, everything escalates fast. Sometimes RSD can look like anger, slammed doors, raised voices. Other times it looks like withdrawal, silence, hiding, not speaking for hours. Both come from the same place: overwhelming shame and emotional pain. What confuses parents most is that it doesn't fade quickly. Days later, your child might say, "Remember when you said I was lazy?" And you think, "I never said that." But their nervous system recorded it differently. For a child with RSD, emotional pain lingers. They replay it, they carry it in their body. So when parents say, "Why can't they just let go of it?" The answer is because it hasn't gone anywhere yet. RSD isn't about your intention, it's about how the moment felt inside your child's nervous system. With friendships, RSD often looks confusing from the outside. Your child says they want friends, but then refuses parties, play dates, or group chats. They do want connection, but rejection feels unbearable. So their nervous system chooses avoidance because if they don't go, they can be left out. They don't try, they can be rejected. A birthday invitation comes, they freeze. They say, I don't want to go. And later they may admit, what if no one talks to me? What if I say something wrong? The fear isn't the party, it's the possibility of rejection. Plans get cancelled and the rejection is intense. Not mid disappointment, it's devastation for your child. They don't like me anymore. I knew this would happen. I have no friends left. Silence feels just as painful. A friend doesn't reply to their message straight away and their brain fills in the gaps. They are ignoring me. I said something wrong. From the outside, this gets labeled as social anxiety, being too sensitive or overthinking. But underneath is fear of being excluded, of being judged, or being not enough. At school, RSD is often misunderstood as bad behavior. A teacher says, just fix that one part, rub it off. And the child bursts into tears, shoves the work away, whispers, I'm stupid. That correction didn't land as information. It landed as I failed, I'm not good enough. For some children, this turns into refusal. Redoing work feels humiliating. So refusing feels safer than trying. Others never put their hand up, even when they know the answer, because being wrong publicly feels unbearable. Over time, some children become perfectionists. Others stop trying altogether. I don't care, I'm bad at school anyway, they would say. That's not apathy, it's armor. Socially, many sit alone not because they don't want friends, but because rejection feels so risky. Teacher may see avoidance, shutdown, or defiance, but underneath all of it is fear. And when school feels emotionally unsafe, learning can happen. So instead of asking what's wrong with the child, the better question is what feels unsafe for them right now. And that shift changes everything. And one of the most powerful things you can do for a child with RSD is to help them recognize what's happening inside their body and inside their minds. Not to fix the feeling, not to take them out of it, but to help them notice, oh, this is the RSD feeling again. Because when a child can name what's happening, it stops feeling like it's who they are and start feeling like something they're experiencing. And that's a huge shift. So here are 5 steps to help your child recognize and manage RSD. Step number 1, help them recognize the emotion, not the story yet. When RSD hits, children usually lead with the story. They say things like, my teacher hates me, nobody likes me, I always mess up everything, you don't love me. But before we examine the story, we need to help them recognize the emotion underneath. You might say, it sounds like you are feeling really hurt. That felt embarrassing for you. I wonder if that brought up a lot of shame. Your body looks like it's in a panic mode right now. You are helping them tune in to their body to recognize that feeling of shame, hurt, fear, or sadness. Because when a child is emotionally flooded, their thinking brain is offline, and naming the emotion brings it back online. Step number 2, normalize RSD as a brain response. Once your child is calmer, not in the heat of the moment, of course, you can gently introduce the idea of RSD. You might say, sometimes your brain reacts really strongly to feeling corrected or left out. Or your brain is very good at protecting you. Sometimes it's doing this job too good and makes you feel threatened even when you're not. Or that big reaction doesn't mean that the thoughts are true. It means that your nervous system felt threatened. This is incredibly important because many children with RSD believe that this is just how I am. I am broken. I'm too sensitive. We want to replace this with my brain reacts fast, but it doesn't mean that the thought is true, that it's a fact. Step number 3, gently evaluate the thought after calm returns. Once your child is regulated, you can explore the thinking. This is where many parents go too fast. So instead of saying, that's not true, try curiosity. We can say, can we check that thought together? What made your brain decide that your teacher doesn't like you? What's the evidence that you have no friends? Let them answer. Then gently introduce the next question. Has your teacher ever shown that they care? Have there been times when friends wanted to play with you? Is there another possible explanation that your friend didn't respond yet? You are not arguing, you are expanding their perspective. The goal isn't to force positivity or change their mind, it's to lose their certainty. Step number 4, offer a compassionate reframe. Once you've explored the evidence, help your child create a gentle replacement thought. Not something like everybody likes me. That doesn't feel realistic. Try, that felt awful, but it doesn't mean that I have no friends. I don't have all the information yet. I can wait. Or, this is my RSD talking, not the full picture yet. I can feel hurt and still be okay. These become anchors your child can return over and over again. You can write them down together or turn them into short phrases your child can use as affirmations when they feel stuck in RSD. And step number 5, remind them the feeling will pass. Children with RSD often believe this feeling will last forever. You can gently remind them big feelings rise and fall like a sea wave. Your body is loud right now, but it won't always be. Or, you felt this before, remember? And it passed. This builds emotional trust. Not that I shouldn't feel this, but I can survive this. And here is important reminder. This is a skill, not a one-time conversation. Children won't do this perfectly. Adults don't either. Your role isn't to stop RSD from happening. It's to walk beside your child as they learn to recognize it, slow it down, and change the story with compassion. That's how emotional resilience is built, not through toughening up, but through understanding what's happening inside their brain and their body. Thanks for being here. Bye for now. If you've watched this and felt that deep sense or, oh my goodness, this is my child, I want you to know that there is nothing wrong with your child or the way you parent. They are not broken, they are not too sensitive, they are not failing. Their nervous system just needs a different support. And if this video helped you feel less alone and more informed, please like and subscribe because I share neuroaffirming parenting strategies every week to help you understand behavior, reduce meltdowns, and bring calm back into your family life.